Zoom.
Turned off at all times during flight.
With a couple of hours in Chicago before boarding our international flight with Iberia Airlines, we exchanged some money and got some food.
It appears that it's welded back on again, which is a good thing. So that we're in shape. We're in shape to fly. Everything will be fine. Probably would have been helpful if they had painted it so we wouldn't have noticed it. But we'll be fine.
Flew into Madrid, and we are waiting for the other half of our group that didn't have all their boarding passes, so before they went through security, they had to go and get them.
We're at the Alamo Rent-A-Car. We did actually meet peace in Barcelona, and all of our luggage made it. So it's a good day.
We're hungry.
We're waiting for traffic.
I'm hungry.
I think we're a little bit lost. Takes a little bit of getting used to. We'll get there.
We're hungry
Alright.
too.
You hungry?
And the granola bars. And then I also had some orange juice and a banana.
Once on the right road, we traveled until 11 that night to Cotignac, France.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. So, welcome. So have a good brunch. If there's anything else you would need, please tell me. If there's not enough, please tell me that you eat well.
We have like a bunch of like balconies, like small streets.
From the Country Life restaurant.
Just some potatoes and all these was from.
I think it's a grapefruit. It's like red.
Oops.
And a piece of bread from yesterday.
Yeah.
You guys know where she's going? Because she's over there. Should we follow her or should we just go follow those people? Hurry!
The most interesting here is what's inside of this tower. But the tower is closed for 1 month. You can walk like this, go to this first tower, and whenever they close, we have to move out.
How long is it?
Yeah, we're in the tower, you know what I'm saying?
Taking a video is going down a little stairway. Look at this.
We like to give you, during the few days we're going to be together, some insights. Not basically about what France is today, but what it was many, many centuries ago. And that's part of the roots of the country, will make you maybe understand better what we face today. So, the place here was started on the 12th century. That was about 800 years ago. Long time. And so it was a harbor to go to the crusade. And then later on it became a jail for Protestants. And so France was a very bloody, had a very bloody religious war for many, many centuries. Catholics against whoever didn't believe like they did. And it was very bloody, it was very, very tough. And then there was a king called Henry IV make a treaty where he gave basically the right for Protestants to practice their religion in this country. And the country developed and blossomed. Maybe you've heard about Louis XIV. And when he took power, just to exercise his power, to show his muscles, he cancelled the peace treaty between Catholics and Protestants. And war started again against Protestants. In the area where we will be tomorrow, mountainside called the Cévennes, there were a place where Huguenots were living, and nobody can really understand why in that very little tiny part of France there were very strong resistance against the Catholics' rules. But it was. And basically everybody gets involved into this. Women, kids, elderly people, everybody was involved against the king, the Catholics, and the soldiers. Now it's very strange that the soldiers of the king were called the dragon. I'm sure that's ring a bell, you know, if you remember some chapter in Revelation about the dragon, you know, making war against the woman. And so the name of the soldier, that special troop of soldiers that came here to clean the country, were called the dragons. And so the strategy was very simple. They put dragons in every house. Every house, it was mandatory. You have to entertain those guys to their faith. Now, when the men were caught to study the Bible, which was at that time a crime, and you will see in the museum on Sunday all kind of tricks on how people were hiding Bibles. But if you are found with a Bible in your hand or in your home, or even if we were maybe, you know, we think that person may have a Bible in his home. He was good enough. The men were sent on the galleys, spend all their life, die on the galleys, and the women were sent in this tower. As you can see, there is nice front windows, beautiful scenery on the Mediterranean Sea. It's a nice place to spend your vacation. Of the wall. It was built first to protect the city against the Arabic invasion, and then became a jail. And of course, there is no heating, no air conditioning, no toilets, no facilities. Many days, many weeks without food, and very strange. You know, this is a very unique prison where every prisoner will go in the prison with the key of the prison in his hand. You were in the tower because you claim to be a believer, a non-Catholic believer. The day you recant that, you're out. This tower became famous for one lady, a young girl. She was put here as a trap to his brother, who was the chief, as a pastor, he was the chief of the rebellious group, and they thought that if they put the lady here, maybe the brother would do something to try to rescue her whatsoever. And the trap didn't work because the lady sent a message to the brother: forget about me, keep going, you know. She was there, she was in court, she was engaged with a young man. She never met that young man again. She stayed 38 years in that tower.
She was 18 years old.
Yes. There is nothing inside, just a big room, and there is, in the middle of the tower, you have a pit. And they were, you know, sending food through the pit and water. And so on the edge of the pit, that lady with her hair needle, she graved hairpin. You know, she graved that word on the stone. And it said register, which means to resist. And you can understand that staying there 38 years, knowing that you can go out anytime, any day, was a big, big trial for that young girl. And that was an illustration. The key was just by their words.
Okay.
If they said, hey, I'm out of here, I just recant, you know, I'm going to church I'm going to mass every Sunday. Hey, here's the red carpet. You go out.
What if they say that and they go out and they don't really do it?
Well, you're right. That's a good question. That's a good point. That's a very typical 21st century thinking and behavior. Hey, you know, I can, inside of me, I can think whatever I want. Outside, you want me to say blue? I say blue. You want me to say yellow? I say yellow.
I can kneel down in front of somebody, and I like in front of Nebuchadnezzar, and not believing in him. So you can say I kneel down, but in my conscience I am free to think differently. But is that honest?
They would rather die than to recant their faith with words.
Bonjour à tous. Bonjour. Bonjour à tous. Bonjour. Ah. Il y en a d'autres qui ont des poules. Vous savez ce que c'est qu'une poule? Tu sais ce que c'est une poule?
La chanson qu'on va chanter aujourd'hui est devant la trône.
Devant le trône.
Trône, oui. Et n'importe où on est, Dieu est avec nous.
Since 1979, this little organic farm has been a blessing through its teaching of the natural remedies.
I have been smiling.
It was here that many of the Huguenots found refuge.
Mom, over here.
Yeah, mine too. I don't think I can take We need somebody to take one of us.
Fine.
Yeah, get it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yes,
You got
take it.
No.
Yes, come on. Those are so cute. Please.
Bonjour monsieur, comment ça va?
Ça va bien, ça va bien.
Oui?
Yes.
Ça va comme le français, quoi.
Oh, it turns around and it comes and just...
I forgot to take the key. That plane, it's American one.
Is it the Piper Cub?
Yeah, for the world, 3945. The pilot on the first side seat and behind the observator.
And he built this runway on the side of the mountain, comes up here, and then goes there.
We have a roof on, you can see it's all brand new. There were a roof on, no roof on any houses.
Oh, in 1,700 years, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
In America, we call this a fixer-upper.
A fixer-upper. Fixer-upper. Yes. Because in that part of France, they are breeding the silkworms.
Okay.
And so they, and here, that's why it's so big. It's because they were making the material, silk material. And so
the roof was made out of these flat stones, which is very similar to what the Waldensians used.
Yeah, exactly.
The restoration of the old ruins has given the team in France yet another means of reaching out to the community.
Before, the whole front was like this. And then they scratch it to make the stones appear. That's where the place where, you know, they remove the silk from the cocoons and make the silk. And they have a plan to put a roof on it and to try to, you know, renovate it as it was before.
A big window here, and it should be a bedroom. Fantastic.
I think this man is a visionary.
Oh, he is. Oh, sure.
This is a chestnut.
Chestnuts are as abundant as weeds and were a main source of food for those godly people. Here, deep in the Cevennes, God cared for his people. The earth helped, as it were, the church in the wilderness by making it almost impossible for the armies to reach these remote locations.
Cool. They go into the villages, whenever something is happening, they talk about it on the radio. And it's good Christian music, but not only made by Christian, but it's good music, good standard, and all kind of things. I mean,
People were Protestants, and the Protestants didn't have the right to bury their dead in the Catholic cemetery. So sometimes they did it in the middle of the forest and sometimes in a wall of the house.
Wow.
And so everybody had their own cemetery.
So this is a functioning.
Yeah, it's functioning now.
Wow. Okay, this is actually a functioning chestnut factory.
Oh, look, a dog. Wow. Just kidding.
And he was living in that house. So this first part, that they torture Taís the 14th, the king who did that, and he should be persecuted, should be sent to the gallery, the women to the prison. So if you get married, it's just as if you were not married. The Protestants, they get married together, but in fact it's not legal. So you live and the children, they have no existence, because in fact the parents are not married. You cannot be buried. So you have to bury your dead person in your garden, in your property, and some would even bury them in the walls of their house. You see? So you couldn't do anything. You cannot even be with what? With wife? Midwife. A midwife. You cannot be a midwife. You cannot be a doctor. You cannot do anything if you're a Protestant. Okay. So they would have a look, and if they would see the soldiers coming, they would, to a signal, everybody here, and Pierre Laporte, especially him, would come there to hide. So you can have a look. It's just a little under here. Yes, under here. Sorry. And they would close the cupboard, and the soldiers would come and look everywhere. They would not find him. Okay. That's the one who was after Pierre Laporte.
Is that the same camera? Yes.
Of the Protestant at that time.
It doesn't say there is a Bible.
Psalms of David.
Whatever it is.
They resisted, at the beginning they resisted very well. And so they would make pulpits which could be completely transformed, and they could carry in the forest or in anywhere. The memorial which has been built in the memory of all the ministers who have been killed during this time. And you know, they were very important persons. You were there. His name Jean Le Nain. He was a baron, which was a very important title. Whatever they would be killed. Protestants family in that part of France were, for the worship in the evening, they would read the Bible, and the girls would look at the window to see if someone was coming. because they had taken the Bible, which was hidden somewhere, and so they would do the worship. All the family were there, and the baby, and the girls, and the mother, and the grandfather. You know, the grandfather was reading the Bible. This is all French. You call it régister, but in fact it means résister. And she resists. And she wrote that. You've seen it in the tower.
Actually, Mrs. Bright asked me if I would do that. The worst part is that she didn't trust.
At Damery-le-Lys, over by Paris, my parents went to go visit these people. Yep. So it must have been a while, but it's cool.
Take second exit to Omni-Renée-Cassin.
Why?
It's a sightseeing tour.
This is not where we're going, but it looks really pretty. So
that was the biggest roundabout we've been in yet.
It looked really pretty, so I thought we'd stop and let the tourists tourize us for a few minutes.
Oh, we're tourizing.
Tu peux aller voir la maison?
Bathing? No.
Okay.
Bonjour.
No, Mr. Price, no, you're kind of embarrassed.
What? What do we do?
No, that's all right.
No.
Stop speaking that accent, and then just don't bathe.
Parlez-vous pigeon? Parlez-vous français pigeon? Excuse me, pigeon. Parlez-vous français? Excusez-moi, peace. Excusez-moi.
He's disowned you.
Wow.
All together lovely, all together worthy, all together one. Pray that we all will be there.
When you're gonna go there, like you can go around the mountain where it takes.
We crossed over the border from France into Italy, and then we made a wrong turn and ended up in a town. And then at a roundabout, we lost the girls' van. And our cell phones that we paid good money for don't seem to work. So we left the boys at a gas station hoping that they'll find the van. And we are driving around the town checking out the different exits from the roundabout to see which one they might have gone down. We're hoping to find them shortly.
The following programming is brought to you by Mentos. Alright, so this is kind of where we're at. We're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Italy.
We can speak 3 different languages, even though none of them is Italian.
We should have gotten lost in France. Or Spain. But yeah.
It had to be Italy, man.
The girls are kind of somewhere over there, you know?
If not, our only hope is just like gamble a little bit of our money in one of those casino machines to be able to buy a car and like get some jobs and whatever, so we can go back to America. Hands.
Hey, how do you know how to get up here? So what happened was I was just standing up here and all of a sudden they're like, look, it's them! And we found them. Now they're leaving again.
We?
Us all alone.
It was more like me, dude. I was the one who yelled it.
We've been down there the whole entire time. See that? Just right
right there.
We lost them at a roundabout.
There was a roundabout. We were on the roundabout. Then at a roundabout, we lost the girls.
Nice architect.
The Italian Alps, the Waldensian Refuge.
We're going up to the cave where the Waldensians were.
For many centuries, all the Waldensian manifestations of faith were severely repressed. They were referred to sneeringly as barbetti. They were forbidden to preach the gospel and gather to pray, to read the Bible and sing hymns. Heavy penalties were inflicted on those who persisted in their faith. They were frequently tortured and burned at the stake. Waldensians were forced to meet in hidden and inaccessible places like woods or rocky areas if they wanted to hold their religious services. This cave is traditionally held to be one of these refuges. Even if the path leading to it nowadays makes it a bit less wild and isolated, this cave is witness to a memory of a deeply rooted faith in Him, who, with His grace, helped us many times in the past, and who is the only stronghold of our religious beliefs.
In the Chiesa dell'Atana, so in the Church of the Cave, ancient temple of the faith, revives the heroic spirit of the fathers who, praying, suffered and died for the liberty of conscience.
Is there any lighting? Oh, these are the bullets? Is it better inside?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Oh, gross. Oh, more than gross. Someone needs to... You don't need to be closer for me because they're trying to stay.
But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. So shall we ever be with the Lord. Forever be with the Lord.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Another word for Waldensian was not only barbetti, there was another word. It was sabbatate or ensabbatate. So you have the word Sabbath, Shabbat or Sabbath ingrained in that. When the French army came to visit them, but then again the Lord intervened in a miraculous way, because one of them knew a way of escape through a narrow path on a very steep path against the rock, and they escaped by night. And when someone walked, they all walked barefooted, but someone let a bottle drop and made a lot of noise. But when the spy came out and said who's going there, only the silence answered. They were very, very silent. And the Lord had helped them because the fog had come down that night, and so they could not see.
Lux lucet in tenebris.
For hundreds of years, the Waldensians defended the Word of God and persevered through the most difficult hardships so that they could be free in spirit.
that wasn't that good.
I have to go make amends.
Okay, I want some clever person to find a way to go in there.
In there?
Yeah, we need to open the door. Anyone who wants to try, they can try. Oh, wonderful! She found the way.
Who was it?
Katie and Paulo opened the door. The barbs, the pastors, were trained here as pastors. So how was their training? Here it explains. The young Waldensians that were preparing for pastoral ministry had teachers that were elders, barbs, that were experienced, and their only textbook was the Bible. They stayed here for 3 or 4 years during the winter season. So they 6 months here, and 6 months they were already making training as evangelists with another older barb, visiting churches, and also they were working for neighbor farmers and preparing food for the winter.
And as you lead me through the darkness, in your arms I can safely rest. So I thank you for the valleys. In the valleys my faith can grow. In the darkest times I can trust in you, and more of your grace I can know. In the valleys you will carry me and give me strength anew. So I thank you for the valleys, Lord. They draw me closer to you. So I thank you for the valleys, Lord. They draw me closer to
What's cooking?
We're not sure yet.
Salad.
Food.
Edible.
Italian food. We hope.
Probably not. Here you have the English house and property of the Waldensian peasant hero Josue Damavel, 1617 to 1690. This motto was, "Let nothing be stronger than your faith."
Hippies would hop from beach to beach living in a tent. We did that for a while.
Yes.
I'm trying to get a better video of that.
Maybe we should wait for 5 minutes so we make sure that no one else is there.
Well, it doesn't look like anybody else is going. It looks like we're free. Looks like we're free.
Here, take this.
These are being seated, but so really stop.
Mediterranean Sea. It's true.
It's getting in my shoes. Trying to get water from the Mediterranean Sea.
Picture?
Throw you on the plane when you do back to the gas. Okay.
Okay, guys, you remember the topic of today? What did impress you while you were visiting?
Like what they would go through to keep, keep living for God. Didn't matter what they were going to have to do.
This is that you will never accept something if you go from the cold to the very hot. You jump immediately, you react strongly against this. But if it's very gradual, almost, millimeter by millimeters, you're going to move to where maybe you don't want to be or to go.
Pull the weeds. Pull the weeds, okay. Bueno.
One of you could use the machine.
I'm trimming the trees. Yeah. Why? What's your job? Anyways.
No. Taking the laundry? Yes? Okay.
You need Mr.
Hey.
So you got in the wheelbarrow and two of you down, one up.
It's leaking.
Where?
Hope. And I guess we're weeding this flower bed that Robbie's standing in.
Verse 17 to 18. But in a way, they're not themselves.
Because we aren't alone when we walk through the valley.
Parce que quand on marche dans cette vallée de l'ombre de la mort, en fait, on n'est pas seul.
Modernize our language, and we have to realize that a lot of us don't know the Sabbath school.
We are going to walk in that direction. Everybody may walk as they want, slow, fast. There is only one way to go, straight.
Very dangerous, so be careful.
And then you come back. You come back here. We will be back. It's almost 4 o'clock. Let's say we back here 5:30 max.
That's not our people. Some of them are.
Might be. Everything might be closed down. That's possible.
Yay. Thanks, Mom. Please take pictures. It's called dying.
Take your sunshine. We may have a big.
Oh, it's a train!
It's a train.
I thought it was a snake.
It's the only Toyota truck we've seen in Europe. A real truck. And it's four-wheel drive on top of that. Oh man.
She loves the baby blue.
Does she really?
Yeah, that's her favorite color.
Oh, sweet.
I don't have to have those things.
Go back in the pool.
Sure either. I mean, I don't mind doing it.
What does it smell like, bro?
You get close
Nasty.
enough, it'll make you...
Ew!
Do you feel like you
Did you get some on you?
Weird.
Oh, there's a snail shell stuck to the wall. It's pink now.
See, these scissors are terrible.
Et c'est le tube de l'eau chaude. Alors, l'eau chaude, il faut la fermer, l'eau chaude.
Running away doesn't help.
Hey.
Hey.
It's more like convention center to me.
What are we looking for? What's he asking for?
The mall. I want to go shopping.
Okay, we're here.
Wait.
Now pay real close attention to this. Apparently in this neighborhood, fathers play with their sons.
Hey! I wish my daddy would play with me.
The red light, but apparently it's okay.
Saying you gotta see.
This looks more like a mall.
Look at all these tourists oohing and awing about it all. So would you like to explain what's going on here?
Actually, you know what I think would be really good is if we did it the other way around this time. I'll run the camera.
Okay. That's scary.
Here's what happened.
Okay, so we...
We remind our clients, travelers and Iberia Passport holders, gold and platinum, and One World Alliance members, Emirates and Sapphire.
She finally saw you.
Finally saw me.
So, you know, by 3 in the afternoon, it's going to feel like 10 p.m.
We're in Chicago right now. We got here a couple hours ago from Madrid, and we just ate some supper and went around some places, and we are playing boards in about 10 minutes to go back to Oklahoma City. And we'll get there around 9 something tonight, around 9:10.
You'd be surprised they're serious.
Sitting by yourself.
Back to the Oklahoma Territory of the United States of America. We're so happy to have you aboard.
Thank you for choosing Oklahoma Academy Bus Airline, an airline that only special people travel.
You guys will be our friends.
You're so far away.
No kidding. You've been so far away.
How's it going?
Three. There you go.
Heather arrives in South Dakota. Laura Green, Kansas. Katie, Michigan.
Paulo, Mexico.
Stephanie Brown, California. Jocelyn Christensen, Colorado. Jessica Johnson, Georgia.
Robbie Gagne, Florida.
Peace out.
Talked to the man and told him I had a PDA. After I've heard your definition of PDA, I don't know that I approve of PDA anymore.
That's not. Oh, okay, we almost had a disaster then.
With our PDA.
Second meet anytime. Good night. 2. Are you recording this? No. I mean, I don't mind as long as we don't show the school. Wait, Ashley. I don't know.